Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll solve a very interesting and tricky problem proposed by a Russian mathematician, Vladimir Arnold, which tricked a lot of American and Russian students. So let me tell you this, Vladimir Arnold himself, first of all, he was a really great mathematician himself, right? He solved 13th Gilbert's problem at the age of 19. He co-founded three branches of mathematics like topological Galois theorem, KAM theory, and etc. So like he himself was a really great mathematician, and he proposed this very interesting problem which says a right triangle with an hypotenuse equal to 10 inches has an altitude dropped onto it with length of 6 inches. So let's see how it looks like. We got a right triangle over here. We got a hypotenuse of 10 inches, and here's the altitude of 6 inches, right? And we need to find the area of this triangle. So Vladimir Arnold himself said something about this type of problems, which actually look easy on the first glance, but they're actually not that simple. He says, in my observation, I've seen 5-year-olds cope with these type of problems better than pupils spoiled with coaching, and in turn, those pupils cope with these problems better than university students who, in their turn, cope with these better than their university professors. And the worst people in solving these type of problems are the Nobel and Fields Prize winners. So what's wrong with these problems? It seems easy, right? We have a formula. We have the formula of triangle area, which says 1/2 base multiplied by the altitude dropped onto that base. So here we have a base of 10, right? If we look at it from this angle, I have a base of 10 and an altitude of 6. So we have 1/2 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 6, we get a 30. And the answer is 30, right? But it's completely wrong, and here's why. The thing is, altitude cannot be equal to 6, and here's some of the proofs for that. Let's look at this triangle from a different angle. Let's put it like this, right? So we have the same right triangle with a hypotenuse of 10, and here's the altitude of 6, right? So let's say this part is x, so automatically this one will be equal to 10 minus x. And now we have two similar triangles over here. And we can show them right here. Similar right triangles. One of them is 6x, and the other one is 10 minus x and 6. So here we get the ratio, right? The ratios have to be equal. So 6 divided by 10 minus x will be equal to x divided by 6. And here we get 36 equal to 10 minus x multiplied by x. That gives you 10x minus x squared. And we get the quadratic equation, x squared minus 10x and plus 36 equal to 0. Okay? So what's wrong with this equation? The thing is, if you look at it, it's impossible. Let me show you why. So x is equal to, because it's divisible by 2, I mean the bx, right? We're just going to write 5 plus minus square root of 25 minus 36. And that will give us 5 plus minus square root of minus 11, which gives you 5 plus minus I root of 11. If you look at this picture over here, x has to be a real number. But what we get a complex number which is geometrically wrong. And therefore it's impossible. And there's also a geometric approach, geometric proof why the altitude being equal to 6 doesn't work. Let's construct the same right triangle inscribed in a circle, right? So we have the circle over here, and we have this right triangle over here. Okay, and the circumcenter of this right triangle is going to be the midpoint of the hypotenuse over here. Okay. So this is going to be the triangle ABC, all right? And this is going to be the center O, right? The picture is not that great, but you know the thing. So for this thing to be correct, we have to have OA equal to OC equal to OB, because all of them are radiuses, right? That makes sense. But it's not worth my time. It's not worth your time. It's actually very simple because, first of all, you can check this by angles. If this is 90, this is 180. This is pretty simple. Then you can just construct a perpendicular bisector over here, which we are going to do actually, because we're going to need this to prove this one, right? Then you're going to give, then it's going to give you like two similar triangles, this one and this one as a whole, and the ratio of those similar triangles will be 1 to 2, like 1 over 2, right? 1/2. That means AO divided by AC is equal to 1/2. That means this is indeed a radius, and all of these, like OA, OC, and OB, are equal. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so what we're going to get here. We know that the hypotenuse is 10, right? Then the radius has to be 5, and therefore this radius also has to be 5. And that means that this altitude over here has to be less than or equal to 5. It can be equal to 5, right? If we adjust it like this, the altitude is going to be exactly 5. But in all other cases, like the case over here, it's going to be less than 5. But in any way, it's not equal to 6. Okay, it's not equal to 6. That's for a fact. And so here's the proof with algebra, and here's the proof with geometry. Both cases, you see this right triangle over here is non-existent. It's geometrically wrong, and therefore there is no solution to this problem. And that's what tricks most of us. What I've seen from my own observations, right? People who have less mathematical background, less mathematical experience, experience in college level math, they tend to solve these type of problems better than the ones who have pretty good mathematical background. The simple reason for this is that people who do not have a strong background in mathematics, they tend to actually, they try to understand the question first. They try to define it and think about it, rather than just dive into it and try to solve it. It reminds me of a quote of Albert Einstein when he said, if you give me 1 hour to solve a problem, I would rather spend 55 minutes of it to define the problem, and then the other 5 I'll try to solve it. And that's what you have to do in this type of problems, right? And that's it for today. That's it. My message for you would be to be careful with these problems, because they might trick you. Yeah, that's it. See you in the next video. So don't forget to subscribe my channel and push the like button, and see you in the next videos. Bye.